people just need, our interns, especially like if this is your first internship, like you need real feedback, and we want to be the ones that give it to you. And then, like I said, it's tough because we don't get to build the relationships, so they don't. I don't think they fully understand that we're not just being assholes for the sake of just being an asshole.
Audio Jungle.
Kelly and I are excited to introduce our next guest, Dee Hernandez-Avolas. Dee currently coaches within sports performance at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. Her primary responsibilities include track and field, men's ice hockey, and co-director of the internship program, the weight room nutrition education too. So quite a lot of responsibility. Prior to her ASU, she was at the University of Miami for masters in exercise physiology. She was working as a graduate assistant for football, and she's also worked in high school level for competitive weightlifting as well as assistant S&C. She earned her bachelor's from Humboldt State University in kinesiology, and she rode collegiately for 3 years, and it was part of her national championship team. She also worked there as a student assistant S&C for football, rowing, volleyball, and softball. In the sports realm and a competitive powerlifter, Dee has made the name for herself as an athlete, and she's played American football from 8 until she was 18. She's made one world championship appearance, won 2 national titles, and has broken over 20 American and California state records combined. Dee, welcome. What a mouthful. Like, you've been all over the place. Great career background, great coaching content, like experience already. So, your extensive intro and all of your background already, I just want to try and understand your perspective of being a female, being coached by males, but also, as we talked about before, being the only female coach in the weight room. Between those two environments, what has been your biggest obstacles that you've had to overcome?
So I guess the first part of the question is I was always the only woman, only girl being coached by these male athletes. So to me, it's you just become a product of the environment that you're in. So as a child, I don't know any better. This is just the way it is. And so it wasn't even, it wasn't even like, oh, I never thought about it like, oh, I only have male coaches and I'm the only woman. No, I'm just another football player. I got to use a different bathroom, and you have to give me the little space that I need to get dressed. But outside of that, I'm the only other. I'm just another football player. So it really is just I was a product of the environment that I was in. So I never once did I feel like an outsider until high school because my menstrual cycle came. And that's when it was like, wake up, Diana. You're don't forget, like, yes, you're a football player, but like these things still happen. So like once a month, it was like, oh, guys, it's not even that like I forgot. It was just I was just existing, doing me. And it's like, oh, I have something to deal with. Oops, every month, and it was just like that was the only time that it was like, I guess I am the only woman here. I can't really tell you guys about it, but you know that I gotta go. Like, and they were fine with it. But being the only female coach in the weight room, it's honestly a lot of fun because I can the athletes that I've coached never cared what I was. Like I could have been purple and 7 foot tall, and they'd be like, they just want to get coached and coached hard, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like being the only woman. It was honestly a lot of fun because it's like, well, I have little person syndrome and I standing 5'2", so I stand on everything. I don't like looking up. I have to be at eye level with everyone, and so they catch on to that, and they know like don't stand close to Dee. She doesn't like that. Like she doesn't play those games. Like don't do it. It's just one of those like if anything they give you more respect. It's like these are the lines that you do not cross with Dee. Like well, you could probably mess around with everyone else, but like She don't like that. She don't play that. It's kind of like the like mom type of thing where it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, yeah, no, I know I can't do that. I'm not playing that. And it's not even like it's like it's not even just like motherly roles that like it was like it's not the gender based roles that they knew. It was just like no, as a person, I don't stand close to me because you know I don't like it. And then I'm gonna motherfuck you for being too close.
Was that just spatial boundaries though? Because I'm a bit like that. I'm like, don't stand too close. But is that what you found? Like you were just your own boundaries?
No, it's literally just because I don't want to look up. Like if I have to look up, it goes down to like literally, it's just like power dynamics. And as odd as this is, like my dad taught me this very early on, and he would never look down at me when I was getting in trouble or whatever. It was always like we're gonna stand there, we're gonna look at each other eye level, or he would like kneel down and make sure he was looking at me in the eye. And then he taught me the power dynamics, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, I definitely don't want to look up. I refuse to. It's just
The funny
I
thing
can't.
is you were taught this almost like a psychological, personal level of communication. Whereas when I was coaching kids, I was already on the floor anyway. I was on my knees. I was trying to see them eye level because it wasn't because like they were disabled kids as well. So I didn't expect for me to look down on them and them for understand me. It was almost like I naturally went down on my knees or I was already there and I kind of wanted to speak to them as people. I think a lot of times when people look down or look up, it's that hierarchy of power, but it's almost like that subconscious kind of type of thing where you don't know you're doing it but you're doing it, whereas you're consciously not doing it. And that's what I was trying to do with the kids. Like I was unconsciously doing it. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
It does. It does. And I guess because I was taught so early on about it, I like to stand on things. I like to really just see what it's like for taller people. And so I stand on everything, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool up here. Like,
Do you
so
carry around a box? Because I was trying to do that in my Mercedes roll, and like I was failing miserably until I found like little things to stand on. Because I'm not the
I will
tallest
stand on
person.
even. I will stand on literally even the like bumper plates that we have. I will literally stand on those.
I
Like I don't. Uh huh. Like if I
do too.
gotta see something, I'm gonna stand on those damn bumper plates. Like I don't care. And it's so funny.
It is quite funny. I can definitely
So
relate to that. But I didn't do it to like meet them on eye level. I just like I'm there, right? And you can see more when you've got a little bit of leverage with height. You can see more.
the only time this is the only time that I like looking up is like when I have it really is just this one athlete when I yell at him and I'm
Right.
just like getting in his ass and he like looks down and he's a big dude. He's 6'4", so he's got over a foot on me and
Yeah.
about 280. And so it's the only time that I enjoy looking up is when he's looking down and it's just like, yes, ma'am, like I won't do that again, like because it's just so funny. It's just such a like a reversal of roles that it's like I wish I
It's
was
that
that
level of
tough.
respect, though, isn't it? It's almost like I understand what my coach is saying, and the thing is, your labels are coaches over there, and people do respect that label. Whereas over here, they'll mistake it for like personal trainers or fitness instructors, and it's just like, come on, guys! Like, I'm not asking you to. You like say my name. It's fine. You don't have to call me
Right, right.
coach. I'm not asking you to do anything different, but just don't call me something that I'm not. I think it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like getting a person's name wrong. That's so disrespectful, right?
I hate that. That's my
Just
one
get
pet peeve. Like that's an absolute no.
yeah.
I actually haven't met you, and this is the first time I've spoken to you, and it's during your daytime, right? So
Yeah.
it's usually 1 a.m. in the morning for you, and and to me that's something that really is well, it motivates me seeing you turn up to our Zoom meetings at your 1 a.m., right? And so what got me thinking was what actually motivates you to do that and everything else you're doing?
I that one's tough. It's like it's never been about me. So it's never been it's always a team setting, right? And at this point in my career, there's been far too many people that have helped build me up
Yeah.
that it's like that I can't fail for them.
I know. I feel that
So,
way
like,
too. Yeah.
You said the same thing in our last podcast.
I did.
You?
Oh,
Like,
look, if someone believes in me, I will never let them down. I'll let myself down more than I will let someone else down. But
right. And it's really just the community that I built in Humboldt, my family that's just, you know, gone around the world with me, and my friends. It's just, I do what I do for them because I don't want to disappoint them. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What do you mean your family went around the world with you?
When I had world championships,
Yeah.
mom went out. So that was the first time she'd ever visited Europe. And my partner at the time went out. You know, my best friend tried to get out, but he couldn't get a visa. And it was like, my friends will go anywhere that I go, just because that's who we are. We just love having a good time.
Yes.
So if we're going, they're going.
Yeah. So friends are family for you as well.
Absolutely.
That's a great
to me,
motivator.
It's just family. There's no, like, at that point, there's no friends. Like, friends are, you know, maybe an acquaintance is a friend to me, but family is just like, I'll bleed for you.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So your motivators are love and family and friends, and really that's all one thing for you as well.
Yeah, it's
Love,
all the
family,
same
and
thing
friends
to
are
me.
all the same. Oh, who doesn't love Dee? She's just getting better. All right, Dee, looking back at all aspects of your life, and I didn't realize that you was such an athlete and broke so many records that I didn't know. I have only just read that from what Tel said. So, like I said, you're just getting better and better. Holy moly. But looking back on all aspects of your life, what do you feel is your most surprising learning curve? And that's not necessarily the biggest learning curve, but the thing that you didn't know you didn't know.
That one was probably the trickiest one. So I'm glad I peeped the questions, because typically I like to be
Absolutely,
unprepared.
you should have. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I like, just, hey, let's see where this goes.
I get it. Yeah.
But this time I looked and I was like, oh, something I didn't know that I didn't know.
That has made a difference to you. So for me, it was discovering as a coach and already having a job that I actually didn't know how to lead people. I wasn't. Yeah, I probably should go back to them now and apologize, because could have done a whole lot better job with them if I had known how to be a better leader. But it's not something you get told.
I'm just going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think it just cut out a little bit. No, I was just going to say, I think you're really hard on yourself there, Cal, because I love Maya Angelou's quote of, when you know better, you do better. So back then you didn't know, and then now you do. So it isn't a case that you need to apologize to them. Like, that's really honorable and noble of you to say that. But you did the best you could with what you knew, and now you know more, you're going to do better. Right?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I love that quote too.
Which I was actually interested in asking you how you've established and sustained connections with your athletes. Like, you've talked about it just then, but what advice do you give young coaches?
The piece of advice is get to know them, get to know the athletes. Like, they don't care how much you know. You can be a PhD in periodization. You could have been the Russian genius that came up with block, and they don't care. They want to know that you care. And so building relationships with your athletes is probably the thing that's like propelled me the most in my spot at ASU currently, because, you know, I've got, and I've told you this story before, but I'll say it again for the podcast. But when I was in Miami, I had just come from a small town in Northern California where I was one of few Hispanic students, so I wasn't really speaking all that much Spanish. And so, you know, you kind of lose the lingo, you lose the speed. I moved to Miami, and everything is in Spanish. And they're Spanish because of the melting pot that it is. Different dialects, different speeds, they use different words for the same thing, really. And so in that spot, I'm like, I feel so far away from home. Like, I've never felt this far away from home in my own country. So when I moved to ASU and I see that we're the biggest university in America, student population wise, and I've got these kids, you know, introducing themselves. Yeah, I'm from Greece. I'm from Kenya. I'm from miles away, like, let me learn how to say good morning or hello in your language, because it's just that little bit. Like, that's how I established my connections at ASU, and that's it meant so. It still means so much to them. It's kalimera, good morning in Greek. If I see my Greek athlete, and it's to her, it's just like, I only speak Greek. Like, they get so proud to teach you about their country.
Yeah.
Just we're all extremely proud of where we're from.
Yeah.
And they just want to share that. And so the fact that a coach is willing to listen to them, it's just opened the doors. Like, I don't work with every athlete because we have multiple facilities, but those athletes that are in other facilities that are from different countries, like, I will go out of my way when I don't have a group to go meet them and figure it out. Because at the end of the day, I want them to know, hey, if you're ever in our facility, I'm still part of the coaching staff that cares about you. I may never work with you, but you can always come to me if you need something and you're in my area.
Yeah. I think it's just, for me, it's opening up a doorway for vulnerability. I was saying, I can't remember who I was saying it to, but I was saying, the thing is, if we're not open for these things that matter to them, like saying their name right, or learning how to say hello in their own language, for them it's personal. It reminds them of home, it reminds them of family if they're that close. And that small detail makes a massive difference, because if you're willing to be vulnerable with them, and vice versa, they're willing to open up the doorway in that stance. For me, when an injury occurs, or just before it occurs, they'll give you that opportunity to go, like, Tuls, this is happening. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling vulnerable. Especially with guys, I felt. Girls will tell you, because I don't know why. I think they just felt that they could tell me something. But with guys, when they opened up, for me, it meant something. It meant a big deal that they trusted me, and they knew that I wasn't going to let them down. Like, there was a caring, compassionate side of me, possibly a mothering side of me as well, just going, you let me in and I will fight for you. I will fight for you, and we will work together to create a solution to anything that you've got going on. And then hopefully that doesn't then lead to an injury that could have been made worse if you didn't tell me about it,
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've got the opposite, where my male athletes will just tell me everything. Hey, this hurts, that hurts, the other. And then my female coaches, and one athlete in specific, where it's, hey, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm good. Like, okay, let's try this again. So here's take 2. How are you feeling? Well, my knee kind of hurts. Like, well, why do I always have to ask you 2 times? Like, why can't you just tell me? Like, if your knee hurts for practice, I can modify things. But my male athletes are like, hey, this hurts. I don't know what I did, but I don't think I can squat, or I don't think I can do this. And they're so much more open. But it goes back to the whole vulnerability thing, where it's like, I'm willing to be a goof with my guys, and if they have something to talk about and that is personal to them, like, hey, let's talk about it. I'll share my experience. I am open to share my experiences with anyone. It's not like I'm proud of what I've done, mistakes, accomplishments, like, all of it, because it's made me who I am today. So I'm willing to tell them all that if they want to hear it, but it has to be they open the door. I can't just dump that information on them, and they're like,
Yeah.
cool.
See, I always figured out it's almost like I was willing to open the door first. I was willing, like you said, be a goof, be vulnerable, and then they kind of felt, all right, it's okay to dip my toes in the water and tell her a few things, especially when it comes to those crucial moments. In my opinion, they do make a massive difference, especially when you're able to manipulate the program and tweak it. Because that's what it is, right? You cannot just keep following the same program, especially if something's going on. But yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Asking it, what do you know now that you realized you had to learn to be the person you are, or the coach you are?
I think I guess the surprise learning curve was when I moved to Arizona, and I took on, I went from intern into the full-time role, because I had no intentions of getting a job out of college. This was where I was going. If something worked out, great. I have plenty of faith, and it was like, I'll be all right. I will be just fine. And it was in that transition where I didn't realize how we talked about this with learning the languages, that me creating this language board was going to just erupt who I was as a person. Like, I've just grown tremendously from that. Because I would be lying if I said that I was always this open to other cultures, because I only knew what I knew and I was safe in that bubble.
Yes.
And I didn't necessarily think that anyone else was wrong, but it wasn't, we weren't on the same team. You know, like, it's just, you know, you do your thing, I do my thing. But now it's like, I want to know everything. Like the last Zoom call when a beer said, I speak Arabic, and it's like, oh my God, awesome. And now I have it on Duolingo, and now I'm trying to learn. And so literally it was that, taking on that, not the role, but just being interested in the space that I was at and taking advantage of the situation that was presented with all these different athletes and learning about their cultures. It's like, that has transformed who I am as a person.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For the better, I think.
I would agree. I mean, not that I knew you before, but I just mean learning about other people's cultures is always a good thing, and understanding, because you care about what you understand, right? If you don't understand about it, you don't care about it as much. So do you mean learning English when you came to Arizona, because it's a Spanish speaking heritage you have?
No, so just learning. So when I try to learn phrases, bits and pieces of the languages of the athletes that I work with.
Right.
So I have
lots of different.
I have I created a language board last year, and it had about 20 different languages. And so I learned how to count at 10. Say good morning and count to 10. Something really simple. And
Gotcha.
People ask me, why count? And it's like, well, if I ever go visit your country, I know they're not going to, like, at least I know the money. Like, I'm not going to get screwed like that. I got to take care of myself too. And so it was just that little bit where, no, I didn't realize that it was going to be such a learning platform in my life.
Absolutely.
And now that I look at it, I'm like, if anyone has anything to say about a culture, a language, a food, I'm in, as long as it's not spicy food, because I just can't do that.
But you've tried it, sounds like.
But I'll try
it. So 20 languages. How can you tell me which ones, even if you can't remember the whole 20?
So I know Arabic was on there for sure, and that's why I flipped at the fact that she said I speak Arabic, and it's like, it was so beautiful to see that written. You know, they're going to what we deem as backwards, and then he's writing it in English the normal way. So the way his brain's just flipping and flopping was the coolest thing ever. Yes. French, Greek, Dutch, German, Chinese, Japanese, Hebrew. I'm trying to think. Spanish was on there. My Canadian hockey boys were a little upset that they don't have their own language, but they put their lingo up there. They put their lingo. Yeah. And so they taught me a couple of the words that they use. So they were up there, their lingo. I'm trying to think.
But it's funny, Dee, that you're saying all these things. Even people who know English and it is their own language, they want to be included in this too. So that's actually really nice that it's connected a lot of your athletes and created that community.
Mm-hmm.
Very
and
special.
They know, hey, come in. You can't erase anything on the board. The only rule is you cannot erase. You can only add. And you can only erase if I get the other athlete to kind of write smaller, but like, you can't take anything away from the board, because that takes away from me, that takes away from everyone else that's looking at the board. And they love it. It's just like, well, why can't I put it up there? Like, nobody told you couldn't. You just you didn't think to ask. Yeah. Like, oh wait, can I? And they get so excited about it. I love it.
Yeah. Look, I love what you said just then about they didn't think to ask, and you letting them know that asking, or if you want to be part of something, you do have to ask sometimes and not just wait for the invitation. That's an important thing that probably I have learned myself in terms of growth. And so things you learn from your athletes, you can also go, maybe I need to learn that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, so you teach 20 different nationalities-ish over your career. you have taught like 20 plus different nationalities.
And that's just in the one facility that I am in, because we've got other facilities where we have I believe our tennis team has one American on the men's and women's team. And that's because they were a walk-on, but all our scholarship athletes are from overseas. And it's, oh my God, it is awesome, because even the coaches coach in their language. And it's just the coolest thing.
Yes. Oh gosh, you learn so much. I worked with a Eastern European gymnastics coach once, and he taught me so much. Because there was a language barrier, there had to be other ways of learning, and it was the steepest learning curve, but also the deepest learning curve. It was so good. Loved it. Every day was, my mind was fried, but really good. All right, I have partially asked you this question with the first one, or at least you answered it that way, but I always imagine that as a writer tucked away in a little room, and you still need a team, right? So you're this little individual writer writing stuff down, but you still have an editor, you still have an agent, you still have a book publisher. And then you always need that good friend who's going to tell you when something you've done sucks. So when no one else will tell you that, right? So who is Team D?
I have to say my boss right now, Leanne Blinn. She's a phenomenal person. She's the reason that I came to Arizona State. And so I came to work for her, and she'll let me know if it's good, bad, ugly. She'll tell me the truth, and so I know she's definitely on my side. My best friend Alan, it's more of those like, hey, you want to do that? Cool, let's do it, and then we'll figure out if it was a bad idea. So it's, with him, it's just all right, well, that's a flaming wall, but you want to run through it? Cool, I'm with you. I'm not going to let you do it alone. Mom and dad, they're just really the foundation of everything.
Yes.
As they typically are in most families, or grandma, auntie. Trying to think, I want to say my training partners, and that's just the people that I work with, because I can't get to the world championship level if I don't have them around and like lifting all that stuff. So it's I know, they're Team D. I guess I can rattle off a bunch of names, but I typically only surround myself with people that I know would go to bat for me. And so the circles, while it might be small, it's significant. Yeah.
No, that's good. Like, everyone has a core, and that expands and ebbs and sways on the day, doesn't it? Depending on, so if you're doing an intellectual exam, then your athletes probably aren't going to be in that core that day. But yeah, I love that you have, to me, that's quite a decent size one. What about you, Tulsi?
Well, no, I was going to ask you this.
You can ask me. Well,
I was going to flip the question on your call.
See,
people.
I was faster though. So
okay, fine. I'll go first. I'm going to take a lot of these answers. To be fair, I realize that, you know what, I built up a really good relationship with some of the people at Mercedes, and I still hold them dear to me. You know what, it was one of the reasons that I was gutted to leave. Not because I wanted to leave the job or anything, but after my contract ended, I was like, well, I'm going to miss the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of draws you to the roles as well. But my friends have remained my friends, and I'm still in contact with them, and they'll still message me and ask for advice on training or rehab and things like that. And I feel like that means a lot because they trust me. And to build that relationship, I know that I can rely on them, or they can rely on me. And same with my parents. They still continue to support me and my brother. And the sacrifices that they've made, moving from Africa, relocating to the UK, and going through their own struggles. My dad always regrets not completing his education, and he's always, pushed me and my brother in education. So, having close people like my friends, but also my family, that definitely means a lot. And we're a tight-knit family as well. So I think that is definitely Team Tulsi. So what about you, Cal?
Look, I don't know if you guys heard that. There was a bit of feedback. Sorry. I would always say my parents. My dad has passed away now, but I still feel very much his presence. And Mum will now just sort of take up the mantle of both Mum and Dad. She'll tell me what she thinks, and then she'll tell me what Dad would have thought.
Is that just to win her own argument? Just like, oh, your dad would agree with me.
And I'll back myself up with your dad's. Yeah, quite possibly. I never thought of that way, but I'm going to start stepping back and looking at it that way now and say, hold on, Mum. Supporting your own argument with your own argument. And then I'm part of a big family, a lot of siblings. So I have 3 sisters and a brother, and my brother is the one who's going to tell me if something sucks.
Yeah, mine too. What is up with brothers when they do that?
They're brutal as well. Like they don't
They
hold back.
are. And we appreciate them for that, right?
Oh, he's the best Ben. Like, that's my surname. We always say he's the best Ben. And then my sisters they're like Team Kelly, like, you go, no, don't you say that about my sister, sort of thing. But they're not the ones who are going to tell me something sucks or that let's back off from this or something. But Troy, my brother, will. And then my partner, who is so incredibly supportive and just thinks I can do anything, which is both scary and, supportive at the same time. He goes, you can do it. I'm like, can I though? But yeah, he thinks I can, and he thinks everything I do is great and wonderful. But at the same time, he's a very nurturing, yes, that was great, and yes, you did it, but we can get someone in to help with this. Maybe that website you built was not so great after all, but at least you tried, And then actually my daughter Ivy will tell me when things suck as well. She'll step up to the plate and go, nah. But I do the same with her, and that's where she's got it from. So that's my core team, and it's all family. Very much at the moment, the women in sport, because I am so daily involved with that. I do all the media for it and all the writing and all the posts. And so at the moment, that's quite consuming. And so when something consumes you like that, it definitely is part of what you consider as a core part of your team. Definitely.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Some great answers.
Okay, so the next question I would like to ask is, we spoke actually a few weeks ago about adjusting the ways you coach during the pandemic. Now, you told the women in sport, we were actually conversing in a forum, weren't we? And you'd been mentoring online. So can you just tell us what that entails and how your interns are learning things that they wouldn't have before just by being on a Zoom call with you and, not in the gym?
Yeah. So, with the pandemic, we have an internship program, and it was unsure if it was going to continue. And, we saw a bunch of other universities are saying, hey, we're just going to go online. We can do this. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we just rewrote our curriculum. Like, I guess we can try it online and see how it goes. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. Like, it has been probably one of the funnest internships I've been a part of, in the sense of like, it's brand new. Everything, all of this that's happening in the world is new to everyone. So we're all adjusting on the fly, right? It's not perfect. But, the internship, it's still, we're still coaching, even if it's video, but, it gives them experience in different video softwares. So we're coaching online. Like, they've got cue sheets that we created for them, and they've got to fill it out, and that's just for them. It's I see the movement. How would I coach it? But then more than that, how would I fix it? How would I fix that problem? And so it just goes into depth. And we probably watched 100 videos on different movements, squat, bench, Olympic variations, like everything. And it's nice in the sense that when you're on the floor coaching, it happens in real time. You can't slow it down. So you're like, oh yeah, look at their knees real quick. Maybe they'll do it again. Maybe. But like here, it's like, hey guys, all right, we play it in real motion. Did anyone catch that? Great, we slow it down for them. So we really do get the chance to slow it down, and they get to ask all these in-depth questions that we couldn't really do, in a normal setting. And then, so we're still coaching, and I took the idea from you guys, that minute improv, and that has been probably the greatest thing, because it just catches them off guard, and it's, yeah, great, the X's and O's, like, but let's see what type of person you are. Like, talk about X for a minute, go. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, I can do X, Y, Z, ABC, like, awesome. So that's just helped them open up, because, again, on Zoom, we don't get that interaction. We don't get to build the rapport like we normally would. So, we can be assholes, but they don't really understand that it's actually coming from a good place. Like, it's coming from a loving place.
Yeah.
Because, we are kings and queens of playing devil's advocate. We love to ask the tough questions. We love to put people on the spot, mainly because all of us were put on the spot at one point, and we feel it's good for them. If you eat ice cream your whole life, it's good to get a little shit in your life, right? Versus the kids that just eat shit their whole life. A little bit of ice cream goes a long way. So
I've never heard that analogy. That is hilarious.
Really? Oh man, I love that one. Some kids just need ice cream. You know what? Life's just giving them enough, and they just need ice cream. And for the most part, I think a lot more people just need, our interns, especially like if this is your first internship, like you need real feedback, and we want to be the ones that give it to you. And then, like I said, it's tough because we don't get to build the relationships, so I don't think they fully understand that we're not just being assholes for the sake of just being an asshole. It's we're being this tough because we really want you to excel.
Yeah.
If we didn't care, like we would just
we
say,
wouldn't
hey,
bother.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just lie to you, say, hey, good job, on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that's because I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's given us really the time to, slow everything down, and we have lectures, we'll host lectures, we have projects, they present to the staff, the interns ask questions amongst themselves, like you guys critique each other, and you guys start tearing your programs apart.
Yeah.
We want to see, so it's been so much fun. It's, again, those things that we can't do in, college S&C. I don't know what it's like on your side of the world, but here, like college S&C, it's where we could have 5 groups in a row. And so the intern may have a question from that first or second group, but I'm looking at him like, I have 30 other athletes coming in. Like, I cannot answer this question. Write it down if you remember, and if there's time, we'll get to it, which typically we run out of time.
Yeah.
But now it's just, hey, well, what about this situation? Oh, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Well, what if this situation comes up? Okay, great, yeah, let's walk down that path.
It's
and so we get to.
Yeah, so sorry, I was just gonna say it gives you a chance to reflect more being outside of the weight room. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the most fun that I've ever had, just teaching, because because now we're I guess exposing them to what's gonna happen. Like, hey guys, this is going to come up, and when it does, it's gonna suck. It's gonna smack you in the face, and this is how you're gonna respond to it. So when it happens, like, just know you've been warned. It will happen. You are gonna mess up royally. You're gonna royally fuck it for everyone. And I tried not to cuss. I did. But I had to. Sorry.
For all of our audience, we made a pact. No, we didn't make a pact. What did we say? We just said, I said, you know what? If you want to cuss, it'll be unapologetically. This is who you are.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you did good.
Yeah. So it's just so much fun, and this group is a little special because we've got one of my mentors is my intern, which is huge. Like, the fact that he's part of that program. He's a head S&C coach at a university, and he joined our internship program. So to me, it's remarkable for me. And then we've got a couple of students that worked for our boss when they were in high school, because she was at the high school level at some point. So this online group, it is pretty special in the sense of, like, there's already family in the group.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure we really give them some shit. Just out of love. It's just like little brothers. Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah, it's almost like a punch on the shoulder and just being like, come on, I know you can do better. Like, I believe in you. And it's almost like it's just knowing their potential, seeing their potential. And just as any athlete that you're coaching, that you see them and seeing their progress, you just want to push them a little bit more. And I feel like that ends up happening in a coaching, mentoring relationship too. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
think, we have an intern that just finished our program. He just graduated, thankfully, and he worked with us for 2 years, and he's like, now I understand why you guys were such assholes. Like, I've learned so much. Like, now I can actually formulate a thought that makes sense. It's instead of just like, oh my god, what did the book say? Like, no, buddy, what did real life tell you? What did that teach you?
I think sometimes people end up wanting to be spoon fed the answer, especially in an internship or a coaching environment. But to have somebody overview and provide you with space to come up with a solution, that's huge. That's priceless. Because you're okay with going out in the field and coming up with your own solutions, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so my question that I wanted to ask earlier, but then I moved on, was about swearing, and it was about tough love. You've got a story. You've got an interesting story about tough love and swearing, right? Can
Which
you?
one?
Whichever one. I remember you saying that you swore, and I think the parent was around.
Oh man, was this the one that
Because you didn't tell me all of this one, so I'm keen to hear this one.
I just want to make sure that this is the one that almost got me fired.
Yeah, that was the one. We want to hear it.
Oh, all right, sweet. Yeah. Love getting almost fired. So, this is while I'm at the high school setting. I worked at a private prep, which was a big basketball school, and so, I don't care who you are. Usain Bolt could walk, since I work with track. Usain Bolt could walk into my weight room right now, and if he's in my way, I'm going to tell him, get the fuck out of the way. Like, my athletes need to train. You've already done whatever you've done. Great. So I don't really care about names. That doesn't, yeah, I just don't. So I have a kid comes in and is like, hey coach, I can't, is there weights today? No, there's no weights. Oh, okay, well, if there was, I was just gonna let you know, like, I wasn't gonna be able to make them today. And I'm like, oh, okay, so let me get this fucking straight. He's a high school kid, so it's like, he talks worse than I do. All right, little shithead. So you're telling me right now you're wasting my fucking time, telling me, making it seem as though you're interested, just to tell me I don't really care about what we're doing here. I'm gonna go do whatever the hell. Get the fuck out of here. Go do whatever the hell you have to do. Don't waste my fucking time. Well, what I didn't know about this very special student was that his father is a Hall of Famer in the NBA.
Oh no.
And so, my boss that day is like, hey, we can't talk to him like that. And I was like, yo, fuck these kids. Like, I'm not fucking, no. I don't give a fuck. Don't fucking waste my time. Like, you can allow that all you want. I'm not gonna fucking tolerate that.
Yeah.
So fuck that. I don't care. Well, yeah, it was, it's probably not, I would advise that for all young coaches. If their name's on the building, probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't. Well, how the hell was I supposed to know? This fucking kid never lifted. So how the fuck was I supposed to know whose child prodigy this was?
I'm crying, yeah.
And so, my boss's boss calls me in and is like, Dee, what the fuck? Like, why do you do this? And it's like, my fault. I don't know what to tell you, man.
This is just you. This is you treating him as an athlete, right? Not him as a name.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
goodness, that's so funny. But you kept your job though.
Yeah, I kept my job. And you know what? Like, and there was multiple instances in which, like, I would tell these kids in front of their parents, like, and not like cuss them out, but like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's okay? And the parents are like, oh, I wish I could talk to my kids like that.
Oh my goodness, no.
I turned to one of the parents and I was like, you can beat the shit out of them if you want to. Like, did you forget that? Like, they're yours. Like, I can't can't do anything. I can only yell. I can only scare them.
Parents can't do that now anyway. They get like called child services.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe edit that part out. Oops. I didn't say that.
You know what? I am under the impression that you're spawn, that you're little humans, you do what you want, you know? If I was naughty, my dad would smack me, but that didn't happen very often because I was an angel, but you know.
I would get checked a lot.
Yeah.
I have and here's the thing, I have an 8-year-old niece that she thinks, oh, I'm not gonna get checked. Like, what?
Oh, it's that little attitude. It's you want to laugh when they do it. It's almost like when they swear and you're like, I know I shouldn't laugh at this.
But it's the cutest thing ever. Please say it again, but don't say it. Like, that's a grown-up word.
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the thing is, have you noticed though, coaches, teachers, in that field, the parents do rely on you guys to not raise them, but give them that autonomy, teach them the respect, teach them those life skills that actually a lot of parents don't really get from education, but teachers, just like you said before, when you were greeting athletes in their own language, you already went above and beyond. And this is the same when you are telling them and you're calling them out, is you're going above and beyond, because really you don't need to invest that much, but because you care and you are invested, that is your standard. It's like, meet me here is your minimum, and if you do not, I will call you out on what is going on your ship.
Oh, I get that even now with like college athletes. It's there's certain things that I just can't tolerate. If I see you the first thing in the morning, it's not what up. No, I'm not your friend.
Yes.
I hate to break it to you. No, it is good morning. I don't care who you see. I don't care if you see the janitor. I don't care if you see a homeless person on the street. Like, you say good morning.
Be respectful.
If it's afternoon, you just have certain. And so, my dad, to this day, if I answer and I don't say, buenos dias, buenas tardes, he'll just pretend like he just doesn't hear me. So I
That's
just do
brilliant.
the same thing with my athletes.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that.
And my athletes now, they know. They're like, morning. Oh, good morning. What's up?
That's good.
Like, as soon as they say it, but you're right. A lot of people do look to coaches and educators to set that standard. And so sometimes you have to have tough love. Like, I absolutely love and care for all of my athletes, but I am gonna be 1,000% tough on them because they're gonna come across things in life that are gonna be way tougher, and it's like you're gonna fall back to the training that you know.
Yes, 100%, and that's whether you're experiencing tough relationships, tough challenges in life, with your career, whatever it is, you go through an injury, that mentally, it just breaks people. So you're building them up because you know that all eventualities, you go back to your training. You go back to your level of education and training.
Yeah. Okay, so Dee, we're going to go into some quick fire questions. Now, I will hold my hands up. I've not been very good personally with quick fire questions. So this is why I'm going to give you some access. Like, if you need more time, it's fine, take it. So me and you were talking about how much we loved reading away from S&C. It's so nice to it's good to read S&C books, don't get me wrong, it's good to read research papers, but at the end of the day, it's nice to just get away from the industry and build up our own personal interests, our hobbies, what can help us be better people. And you're very much like this, aren't you? So what 3 books would you recommend to us and our audience? Me and Kelly are going to steal them too.
Yeah, see, I write them down.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure if you guys were going to record this, so I brought them up. So just
Good
in case.
girl.
So
I love that one. Yes.
You've read it?
Yes. And
I'm the only one who's missed out then, so I need to read this.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, I will say I don't have any tattoos, and I never thought I would. No. But the one quote that I got from this, Ichigo Ichie, and I have a photo of it. I will send it to you guys because I have a Japanese soccer athlete, and it's the most beautiful quote, it's, "This moment exists only now and will never come again."
Mm.
And that was the realest thing. Like, so this is one of my favorite books. I'm going to read it again.
Okay,
Yes.
so for our audience who can't see, can you
Yes, that's true.
tell us what it is and who it's by?
Okay, so Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles.
Yes.
Amazing.
And then the second one is somewhat related to S&C. We've definitely spun it to help our interns and you know, further enhance them, but it would be Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. I actually read this the first time because my roommate told me to read it on the flight to World Championships. He's like, "This is going to get your mind right." And I didn't really understood what he meant, but it was really just like, just learning how to, I guess, be a leader and learn to take the fault, learn how to clearly communicate, learn, you know, just, I guess, like, learn different methods that you can actually apply into real life, that they may seem common sense, but it's not so commonly seen. And so I absolutely love that book. And then the third one, which I don't have because I borrowed it from my boss, would be Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
I love Ryan Holiday. He's my favorite.
Love his book.
And I love Ego is the Enemy. I was addicted to it.
It's one of those that I think I got to read it like once a year, just like Ikigai. And I had a list of other, I had it was so hard to try to find the 3 books because I'm like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, and you can send us the list of more. Absolutely, just email them to us.
Awesome, I will.
Yeah, because you know, all the sum of these is D in ultimately. Yeah. All right. My question I did. Where is it? All right, I'll try to remember it. What is Dee's next move?
Oof. Next move is just to get back into whatever coaching is or is going to be, but
Yes.
The next move career wise is to become an educator. My biggest thing is I do want to be an educator. My college S&C was a strength coach and an educator. He taught physiology classes, he taught the PE, the physical education classes, and he's one of the most brilliant men and brilliant coaches that I've ever seen. So I want to be I just want to be him.
Yes. Yeah.
I just want to be him.
Yep. Great
I love
educator.
that.
Yeah, isn't it nice to have someone
Yeah.
who has been so such a positive influence on you that you really, I just want to be like you. Oh,
That's amazing.
does he know that?
He does.
He
He
will
does.
now.
Yep. Yeah.
He absolutely will.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's something people deserve to know as well. If they've been that influential on you, in a good way, that they deserve to know. I'm a big believer in that. So you've told him, or he's just picked up?
I've told him countless times, and every single time he's a modest man, and it's just like, oh, you're just saying that, and it's like, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm not just saying it just to hear myself speak. It's because I absolutely mean that. He was a critical part in my development as a young woman.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have to explore that one a little bit more when it's not a quick fire.
Well, it's funny because I would want to ask, what advice would you give female coaches? If there's one piece of advice, what would you give? What would that be?
You know, be authentic, be completely authentic. The kids can sniff out and I say kids, I don't know what realms that they're going to work in, but your athletes will sniff out if it's not authentic, if you're pretending to care, but you don't really, they know that you don't care. Or, if I'm in the weight room, I love being loud. It's my playground. I get to go and play, and being 5'2" and the cages are typically like 20 feet tall, I can climb everything. And my athletes know that. They know that when it's time to coach, it's time to coach. But when I play, I'm playing. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine that you'd be a very popular coach there, especially if you're climbing like a monkey to the top. To the top. I was going to ask a similar question. I said, what advice would you give to the next generation of young coaches? But I think that fulfills it, unless you've got another gem.
I guess don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself, for for your colleagues. Like if someone makes a mistake, you know, now being an assistant and being a full-time role, I want to be challenged by my interns.
Yes.
I want you to say, I don't think you're right, or hey, what you did, I don't think that's necessarily right. What about this? So be willing to speak up for yourself, for you know, respectfully, of course, but look out for those that you work with. Just we all have to have each other's backs.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid.
Yeah, look, I think that advice transcends life, really. Learn to stand up, speak up, and don't be afraid to be seen doing it. Be respectful, like you said, but because, you know, respect for each other really is the thing that we need to focus on right now. There's been, I think because everyone's behind a keyboard so much at the moment, people are getting a bit brave with what they are writing. And you just think, would I actually say that to Dee's face?
Mm-hmm.
I stand toe to toe to her and say that, and often the answer is no, right? And I think people are getting a little bit brave and forgetting that at some stage we're going to come out and see each other face to face, and she's going to go, hey, remember you said that time that I couldn't climb to the top of the thing? Well. But yeah,
it's funny how online you have to build up a different set of armor against haters or critics, but what you're talking about, Dee, is I like the way that you've actually said speak out, and you're creating an environment so they can speak out and challenge you in ways that help them. Whereas when you end up speaking out and, you know, taking a famous example right now, especially with the Black Lives Matter, there are so many athletes who are told not to speak out
really
by their superiors. Yeah. There's a really public one at the moment, but it's similar to, you know, Athlete A on Netflix right now, and they've talked about sexuality with young gymnasts. Same thing on Twitter has just erupted. One of the girls had wanted to support her gymnastic friend, but she said, I'm not going to publicly support you, but I'm going to privately support you because I know I'm going to get reprimanded some way. And that's where that balance between you want to speak out in a safe environment, but then also you care about your sponsors, you care about your career, and it's really difficult, you know. But if you can create that nurturing environment that allows them to speak out, you're going to create that person. It doesn't matter what happens, but they are going to stick up for themselves because they've got the values and the morals and the backing no matter what.
Yeah, I can imagine Coach D does provide that environment.
Yeah. Okay. I
tried to.
Oh, sorry.
I bet you did.
I tried to. So the last question is, if you would like to hear from one other person as our guest for this podcast, who would that be and why?
So this one was also tricky, but I had to look up her exact title, but Marissa Viola, director of performance at Play. And it's just, you know, now Play's become worldwide and she's at the top. She is there. She's director of performance. So it's, you know, I'm starting off my career and I'm trying to help whoever the message gets to, then it touches, if it touches one person, that's plenty. But she is on a platform that she can speak to the world at one time. And, you know, all of the women of S&C, whether they're students, they're thinking about it, whatever, you know, that's one person that I would love to hear from.
Marissa walks the walk, doesn't she?
Love that. Right, she's on there.
Yeah, I've written it down.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Like, apart from the swearing.
Sorry. All bad.
No, it's allowed in Australia. It's not a UK thing that people would swear on it.
If people get offended by it, that's their issue. That's not ours. Like,
no.
Right? This is her.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you be you.
No, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time and your honesty and vulnerability about your experiences.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So much. So, yeah, take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely will.
Yeah.
All right. We'll speak to you soon, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee.
Bye.
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 Oh, Toss.
How are
Jesus.
you?
Oh, look, I'm fine. I'm good. And Dee, awesome, right?
You love her.
Yeah, love her.
She's
Yeah.
just so freaking honest and like, I love her as a coach. I love her as a
I think
leader,
I'd love
as a
her as a coach.
mentor.
Yeah.
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 Actually, she'd probably scare me as a coach.
Really?
Yeah. I think she's tough.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I can
I need
imagine
some,
she is tough.
I
Yeah.
can dish it out. I just can't take it. And I'll admit that. I'm like, look, guys, I can dish it out. I can do tough love, but I just can't take it because I'll cry.